Russ is Russ, man.
Yeah, it's a fact.
He gets the ball and says, "Why not?" Like
Why not
that's
step
pretty much
back and
what it
put up a
is.
three for the win?
Right? Like why not?
Shit is wild, bro. Shit, he really lives by that fucking motto.
Yep. Sounds
He
like
really
perfect.
lives. Yeah, he lives by that shit.
I just don't think he has it anymore.
Should any team want Carmelo Anthony?
Blasphemous.
Yes, sir, Carmelo.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Control the Narrative, a podcast where we control the narrative that the media creates. If you're new around here, subscribe to catch our weekly podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And if you're a returner, a subscriber, or better yet, a Control the Narrative member, like this dude joining the show tonight is, we appreciate you a little bit more. Got back in last night from Cleveland All-Star Weekend. Fun-ass weekend. Tiring-ass weekend. For whatever reason, there's like 6 Ubers and Lyfts in the entire city of Cleveland. So we had to wait fucking 25 minutes minimum for Ubers and Lyfts. And it was kind of freezing cold the whole weekend, which is why I'm a little stuffy and shit. But anyway, fun-ass weekend. Had the little pop-up shop. Thanks to everyone who came through. Chopped it up, bought a t-shirt and shit like that. It was a cool meeting people. So first one, definitely going to do the next one in New York where there's more people who fuck with Control than Cleveland, to say the least. But it was good shit. So All-Star break done. And, you know, people talk about, all right, now it's like the second half of the season. They've played like 67 games. So it's not the second half. I think there's like 25 games left or some crazy shit like that. So we are in the home stretch for sure of the season. And joining us tonight to talk about that second half. See, I just fucking said myself. Joining us to talk about the home stretch of the season is longtime Control member Kenny. Kenny with the fucking always with the fire background. I told him right before I'm trying to match his fire ass backgrounds every time he joins. Kind of hard, but welcome to the show, bro.
What's going on, man?
Not much, bro. Chilling, stuffy nose and shit. So ready for this home stretch, man. It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens in this last 25 games of
I agree.
LA Lakers basketball. And right now in the Western Conference, they're sitting 9th, so they're in that play-in tournament at 27-31, 4 games under 500. They are 3.5 games out of the 7th seed, and they are 6 games out of the 6th seed, which means they would avoid that play-in tournament. So I think the big news that we haven't talked about yet on the pod has been Anthony Davis got injured again. I think he sprained his foot, the midfoot. I think that's what they officially diagnosed it as. Really like ugly looking injury. I thought he broke that shit when I saw it. His fucking ankle touched the floor. But Kenny, what I'm curious to know from you is how can the Lakers overcome AD's injury again? Do you think it's possible? What path do you see that gives you any confidence that's like, all right, cool. Maybe if they do this, they'll be fine.
You're gonna have to play a lot better than they're doing now. Because without AD, man, I mean, it's without AD they kind of did okay, but he's definitely a big help. It's a difference too, because it also takes the pressure off of LeBron having to score like 25 plus every single game, and you know, wearing him out, the wear and tear. And then when he goes to the bench, it's like they can alternate them two. All right, AD can sit down. LeBron can play. LeBron can sit down. AD can come in. Then you slide Melo in with both, you know, both players. So then it's also taking the pressure off of them too, and they can rotate. But I don't know, man, because you know with Russ at the point, man, it's still a hard thing to overcome. You just can't look past it. It's like, and then not making any like off-season moves. I mean, trade deadline moves that I think that hurt him, because it's like you could have got a backup or somebody else, because you actually have that new rule, like you can pick somebody up, like, you know, if you have like injured slots and stuff like that, and they didn't do anything. So it was like, I don't know, man. It's kind of luck of a draw, actually, to me.
Yeah, we'll get to Russ in a minute, but like you said, man, they were like playing kind of fine without AD, but that's because LeBron was putting up absolute minimum 25 every single game. Can he do that still every game? Maybe, but you think about if he does that for the next month, how fucking exhausted he's going to be going into the playoffs. if they even get there at that point. So for me, man, I think one thing when AD came back that was immediately clear to see was how much he impacts the team defensively, just protecting the rim, being able to guard big dudes. When he was out, Melo was playing the 4 a lot, LeBron was playing the 5 a lot, which again, it works, but when you have LeBron going up against a guy like Embiid, obviously you're not going to see Embiid every other night, but Jokic or I don't know, those big bodies in the paint, that's a lot for him to do. Say that again?
Phoenix, yeah, Ayton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, DeAndre Ayton, shit like that, where it's like he can do it. Obviously, he's capable of it. But if you are expecting LeBron to do that defensively and then expecting him to score 25 points a night offensively, and that's where I think it's a little bit tougher. And again, offensively, I think if they lean more on Melo, they won't miss AD as much as people might think they will. Because, like, again, we talk about this shit all the fucking time, but Melo can still be a focal point of an offense. Not saying the focal point of an offense, but he could have the offense run through him. He can pass, he can shoot, he can play, he could do all these different things. They just have to let him. And I think that's going to be the only way that I don't want to say make the play-in, because I think hopefully, across my fucking fingers, they make the play-in tournament anyway. But for them to make the playoffs and get a top 6 seed without AD for the next month, probably at least, they have to play more through Melo offensively. One, because they can't rely on LeBron to do all that, to pick up all the slack offensively. And I don't know if there's another guy on the team who can do that. And obviously Melo plays the same position as AD, or a similar position, 4 or 5, where it's possible. So I think they need to rely on Melo a lot more than they have been offensively. And defensively, I think it's just got to be a team effort where it's like, man, we watch them and they don't look like a lockdown defensive team some nights, but they look like they can play solid defense some nights. And then on other nights, they let a fucking 125 points. It's like, where's the consistency? And there is none. So I'm hoping on that end, they can flip the switch in this home stretch.
I'm also surprised they don't play DeAndre in the middle like they should.
Or Dwight, bro.
Like, Dwight, yeah. It's like you have 2 solid big men that you can actually get to contribute. No, Dwight, he's going to give you his fouls. He's going to use all 6 fouls. He's going to use those. He's going to hack a couple people. But I mean, that gives you, that changes your mindset towards going to the rim, because it's like, I'm not going down there because he's going to elbow me in the ribs or something like that. So it's like, they still have him. So I just don't understand why they don't use him. Like I don't understand it. So
Dwight, I agree with. I think DeAndre Jordan's one of the most watched players I've ever watched play basketball. But Dwight, bro, like, and if he goes in and picks up 6 fouls in 10 to 15 minutes, like, fine. Because if you're not going to use him, like, what's your other option? Like, DeAndre Jordan, I don't think you should see the floor for 30 fucking seconds. And, like, Dwight Howard, like, let him go in there. And, yeah, like you said, maybe the elbow and the chest shit or the ribs or whatever. Like, I feel like he'll pick up some technicals real quick or flagrants or whatever. But, bro, like, commit hard fouls or, like, block a couple shots. And, like, he looked way better in the beginning of the season than as of late for whatever reason. I don't know if, like, it's his legs or what the deal is. But, yeah, man, I agree with that. Dwight inside, strictly for defensive purposes. Obviously,
no offense, not offense. Just strictly a body down there that can bang and put wear and tear on people trying to get, because he can rebound.
Yep.
So I mean, I just don't understand why they don't utilize that too. So
yeah, and I think I'm pretty sure they were doing that a little bit, matching up with teams when AD was out. But even if they're up against a team who doesn't have like a big guy, like the Warriors, for example, not in the playoffs, I'm talking about over the next month, throw Dwight in there, because he's taller than a lot of the dudes on the team. So, like, let him bang down in the paint a little bit, grab a couple of rebounds, block a couple of shots. And, like, if he only is out there for 10 to 15 minutes, fine. Like, it's a mismatch for you, and not that you're going to feed him in the post or anything like that. But I feel like they don't really have any other options besides to do that.
Yeah, because now it's like in the West, it's not really that many big men now. Because I think the Clippers, didn't they trade Ibaka? So it's like that's another big body out of the West. He's in the East now.
Milwaukee.
So it's like there's not really a lot of the only solid big man you have to worry about is Joker. It's like the only other one really that's in Phoenix. Because like everybody else, they have big men, but they don't really show up every game. It's like,
Yeah.
they might have a good game, and then like Memphis, what's his name, Jackson, like he might have a good game one game, and then the next game he's terrible. So it was like,
Gobert too.
yeah, Gobert, but
Cat.
he's injury prone. He got to stay on the floor.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They got to do something.
And the Mavs just traded KP to Washington, and
Right.
he was the
So it's
best
like,
big man. He was the best big man in the West at the time.
right. So it's like everybody.
Fuck
Would you say KP?
Yeah.
No. Hell no.
Yeah, no, fucking around. But it's just another name. And like again, I think everyone knows how we feel about KP. But you're right. There's not too many legit bigs in the West. So like, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
We spoke about Russ real quick. I think each of us mentioned him one time. Yo, real quick, sorry to interrupt if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, but just wanted to let you know that we have merch at Control the Narrative, and it's pretty fire, in my opinion. This is the Pixel Melo t-shirt that I'm rocking. Anything from Cuse Melo to New York Melo, Hoodie Melo. On this shirt, we got Scapegoat merch, we got Blackball merch, we got just regular Control merch. Shop CTRL the Narrative.com. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies, stickers. Shop CTRL the Narrative.com. I think I got my point across. Go check it out. I bet you'll find something you like. Appreciate the support as well. Obviously, the merch sales help us fund these podcast episodes that we get to record every single week. So appreciate you. And back to the show. We know the story of Russell Westbrook this season. Straight up, what do you need to see out of Russ post All-Star break in order for the Lakers to play well? Let's just put it
Slow down. Slow down. Don't go 100. Go maybe 50, 65. You can go in at 50 to 65. You'll be all right. Because, trying to speed up everything, that's when all mayhem breaks loose. And trying to do too much, like just let the game come to you. Maybe instead of trying to be that superstar Russ back from like OKC days, like try the Melo approach. Like try to fit in versus just trying to be Russ. Because being Russ is not helping. It's not helping. It's killing them actually. For you to have them, I just still can't get over the turnovers and the play calling, like and some of the decisions he's making, man. It gets me. I'm like, I don't know how many times I'm sitting there with my hands on my head because of the stuff he's done, man. It's like watching the game, just like, oh my God.
In crucial fucking moments too, bro.
Right. It's kind of like how in Denver when JR used to get the ball and I'd be like, no, because you just know he was going to shoot it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, So
yeah.
I got to see a total different mindset when you step on the floor, man. Maybe try to do something else other than offensively. Like, okay, maybe be defensive problem or like maybe force a double, like force your man into somebody else, and then they can get a turnover and capitalize off of that. And then when you get the ball, just don't dart down the court. Fast break, okay. If it's just you and somebody you can take, cool. But if it's you and a big man, you trying to dunk and they send it back to half court, then like just don't do all that, man. Because it's like I said, him passing to the popcorn man in a concession stand, like that's not gonna work. That's just not gonna work.
Bro, he was good at that shit in the first half of the year. I'll give him that. He was fucking good at that.
Hey, man.
Yo, everything that you said is on point. The one thing that worries me that makes me think he won't do that and like fit in more, just straight fit in more is I don't know if you saw, I'm pretty sure you saw the quote that he had where he was like, oh yeah, my back has been hurting me because I'm not used to sitting this long. Did you see that he said that?
I seen he said that. I did see that.
So like him saying some shit like that, and then apparently when he didn't finish the game on the court and they lost, and he went over to LeBron and AD and was like, yo, I wasn't on the court, like that's not on me, or I couldn't do anything about it, or something like that. I think I don't want to say it might be an ego issue, but it's just something like he legit still believes
he's the man.
That he's the man.
Yeah.
And there is obvious confident issues, and he's obviously like mentally not where he needs to be in order to seriously contribute to an NBA team the way that they brought him in to contribute to an NBA team. But man, I just really wonder if he's willing to take a step back, just because he still believes he should be on the court, and like, just instead of taking ownership. And how many games has he turned the ball over in the last minute or 2 minutes, or got caught ball watching and his dude slipped behind him and got a dunk with under 30 seconds left or some shit like that, where it's like he hasn't taken accountability for that once, and instead he's like being defensive about it, where he's saying shit like, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna have nights like this and everything. And it's like when you're having nights like that 3 out of 4 times, there's something going on. And like, again, this isn't just to shit on Russ, and we saw that this team lost to Portland without Russ, so it's obviously not all Russell Westbrook's fault. But again, being paid $40+ million and not being on the court to finish games because you're just a liability and all these things, it really worries me, because if they're going to have no choice but to play him, he needs to – I hope he had some sort of epiphany over this All-Star break, taking a few days off where, if he needed to fucking meditate or whatever he needed to do. For me, though, the one thing I need to see from Russ is it's slowed down for sure. And, just instead of, again, getting the ball and just sprinting at the rim, I think he should pick his spots more. And I've spoken about this before a few episodes back, where it's like, yo, you don't need 25 shots. Like, if he just took 12 shots a game and just made those 12 shots high percentage shots at the rim, even though he hasn't been a great finisher this year, just drive to the hoop. If he gets fouled, he gets fouled. We know what he's doing from the free throw line. I think 65% or 67 or some shit like that. But that's way better than these threes he's shooting, than these mid-range off the top of the backboard. Like, crazy shit, bro. Like, just drive to the hoop more, pick your spots more. And again, like, the turnovers, they're going to be there. He's actually had some few stretches where he's turned the ball over a little less, but they've still come at crucial times. So it's like, bro, what the fuck are you going to do? So I think as long as he's able to pick his spots a little more, especially with no AD, where the ball is going to be in his hands more, I think that might do them good.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And we've been preaching shit like this. They haven't been listening. After All-Star break, we'll see if shit's different, but I don't think so. I have like no faith that shit's gonna turn around at all.
Yeah,
it sucks to say that.
He's Russ is Russ, man.
Yeah, it's a fact.
He gets the ball and says, "Why not?" Like,
why not step back and put up a three for the win?
Right, like why not?
It is wild, bro. Shit, he really lives by that fucking motto.
Yep, that was like perfect.
He lives by that shit. All right, last interruption, because if you're watching or listening to the podcast for this long, you probably fuck with us. And if you fuck with us, you'll probably fuck with all the perks that you get from being a Control the Narrative member, whether that's access to our invite-only Discord where we're talking basketball all the time, or opportunities to join the next episode of Control. So whenever we need a guest, I go in our Discord, I say, yo, who's free? Who wants to hop on the next episode? And I pick from there. You get 20% off merch forever, and then you also get member exclusive merch, all by being a member. Tiers start at $2 a month. So if you fuck with us, go check out a membership, CTRLthenarrative.com, and I will see you in the Discord. All right, back to the show for good. The Lakers are 9th right now, like I mentioned. 9th in the West, 27-31. They are 6 games out of avoiding the play-in behind Denver. So 6 games, it's a lot. They're 27-31. So again, not many games left. But what I'm curious to know, in your opinion, is do you think when it's all said and done this season, the Lakers get a top 6 seed, they get in the play-in, or do you think they miss the playoffs completely?
I think they get in the play-in. I think they at least get in the play, and then they actually might turn it up a little bit, because LeBron in the playoffs is different from LeBron in the regular season. And now that Melo actually once he's in the playoffs and he knows like he's closer to opportunity to win a championship, I think it might be Melo times 2. Like them two together, man. I just think it might be. But even without, and then if AD comes back, you just slide him in the mix too. Him in the playoffs is dangerous too. So it's like, I don't know. I definitely think they make at least the play in. Top 6, that's gonna be hard.
It's tough, man. It's
That's
tough
gonna be
because I
hard.
don't know. I don't think Jamal Murray is coming back anytime soon with
Nah,
that ACL tear, but still, like, Nuggets won 3 in a row going into the All-Star break, so it's like
I have
they
a, I
don't.
have a confession. That's actually my team, but
Denver?
yeah, I grew up with my brother liking Denver, so that kind of. But
Because of
Melo,
Melo?
no, actually, because of I've heard him say Rod Strickland and LaFonso Ellis. That's what started it for me. But
That's a huge
yeah, it's
confession. I didn't know that before. How many times have we been on this fucking pod and it's the first time I'm hearing that?
yeah, it's on my Instagram too, man.
Is it? Word. Damn.
It's just a lot of it's just a lot more mellow stuff. I'm more mellow.
Bro,
'Cause I don't even like the game.
did you see that the Nuggets Twitter finally posted Melo? And they
Yeah,
acknowledged them getting that top 75 list?
yeah, I seen that.
He's the
It's
only
still,
Nugget that made it, right?
yeah,
Alex English didn't make it. I was kind of surprised at that.
yeah.
And again, this shit came out like months ago, but
No.
they celebrated over All-Star weekend. Man, I'm with you. I think they make the play-in. I think that making up 6 games and leapfrogging 2 teams in the process without AD is damn near impossible.
Yeah,
So I think they get in the play-in. I mean, either spot. If they get the 7 or the 8 seed, more likely than not, they're going to either be going up against Phoenix or Golden State. So, we sit here and we can say, which is true, like, yo, this team could look very different in the playoffs. But if they're going up against the Warriors with Wiseman coming back or Phoenix, and again, CP is out for the rest of the regular season, it seems like, so he might be coming back around the time that the playoffs start. I don't
and
know if
that's
they
his
beat
hand.
either of those teams.
I mean, Phoenix, that's his hand. So it's like and it's his right hand. So I mean, that might limit him a little bit, but they're still dangerous.
They just have a perfect team, bro.
Yeah, and
Like from
Malik Monk
top to
has. I
bottom.
mean, he's been trying to, do something, but
Monk?
yeah,
Yeah, he's
I
been
mean,
balling.
he's and then man, what's up? He plays he's a defensive problem there for us.
Bradley?
No, not Brett. No, not Brett.
Stanley Johnson.
Johnson. There you go. Yeah, he's. I mean, I see why they kept signing him, bringing him back.
Yeah.
He's been helping out on the defensive end too. So
Bro, he's gonna have to step up fucking big in these next few weeks or a month or two with no
yeah,
AD, especially on defense. And again, we'll see if they put in Dwight, but I think they make the play-in. I think they get a playoff spot, whether it's 7 or 8 at the end of the day.
right.
But man, going up against Phoenix or Golden State in the first round,
Memphis is kind of too, man. Memphis is
I'd rather play Memphis than out of any of those 3 teams.
yeah, they're surprising a lot of people too.
I'd rather play Memphis over the Warriors and Memphis over Phoenix. And again, we'll see what happens with CP's hand in terms of how he comes back, when he comes back, and all this shit. But that's one thing that worries me, man, is like, obviously you want to avoid the play-in to not have to risk not making the playoffs completely. And again, right now they're 9th, so that means they would have to beat Portland and then the loser of Minnesota Clippers, which I think they can for sure. But if you get top 6, you don't have to be in the play-in tournament, obviously. And then you get to go up against a team like the Grizzlies, who are very good. I'm not downplaying how good they are whatsoever, but I think they have a better shot against Memphis than Golden State or Phoenix. So I think it's going to be interesting, man.
Oh, Cat too, because if they go against Cat, then that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Who's going to match up with him? AD's out.
Yeah.
You put LeBron down there, that's going to wear him out. And LeBron's been having ankle, and every time if he twists his ankle wrong, he's out 6 games. So it's like,
yeah. Man, it's been rough, and like Melo's been healthy for the vast majority of his career, and not that he hasn't been healthy this year, but just had a couple injuries. That hamstring that had him out 2 weeks before the All-Star break. So hoping he's good to go on Friday when
his back.
come back. His back, yeah. Swear back, such an old fucking man injury right there.
I feel him on that sometimes.
Such an old person injury to get, bro. Yo, I'm gonna throw this one in here. I didn't have this originally penciled in, but there's been reports. All right, so the trade deadline has come and gone. the Lakers made absolutely zero moves. And there were reports that Klutch Sports and LeBron, and again, these are reports, that they are not happy with Rob Pelinka not making a move, that they wanted him to make a move at the trade deadline. There were reportedly, again, all reports right now, there were reports that the Lakers had an offer on the table, Russell Westbrook for John Wall, but the Lakers had to throw in a first-round pick. They declined. There was also some talk about John Wall and Christian Wood. I don't know who else would have filled in that trade. There were reports of THT being traded to the Knicks and LA getting Cam Reddish and shit like that. Again, nothing materialized. Nothing came to fruition at the trade deadline. But the one thing that I wanted to highlight is Klutch Sports, led by Rich Paul, obviously LeBron's agent, and they kind of run that whole thing. Wasn't happy with Rob Pelinka. They weren't happy with Rob Pelinka and all that shit, which I just thought was funny because they are the ones that wanted the team to trade for Russell when they apparently had a deal on the table for Hield, and LeBron and AD met with Russ and was like, yo, Pelinka, get Russ over here. So what do you think about, again, the reports that Klutch Sports is mad at Rob Pelinka? Do you think that Pelinka was protecting the Lakers organization in terms of like saving first round picks and doing shit like that? Do you think like any of those trade deals that were out there wouldn't have made the team better? Like, just what are your thoughts on that relationship of Klutch and Pelinka? Because we know that LeBron makes a lot of these decisions in the front office, and just the Lakers not doing anything at the deadline.
I don't know if John Wall would have really helped them, because then they would have traded for him, and then he got injured again. Same situation. He been out long. Has he played a whole season like yet recently?
Not in years, no.
Yeah, it's been years since he played a whole season. So it's like that would have been a gamble. And then Reddish, okay.
The last time he played the majority of the season was 16-17. He played 78 games.
It's just that's a long time. That's a minute. So it's like, deal with Russ and his shit versus trade for somebody that's injury prone, and then you're out. Then you're down a guard. So it's like Cam Reddish. I don't know. I haven't really seen too much of Cam Reddish. Honestly.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't say if he would have helped or hurt them.
Fair. I mean, he's not getting much fucking run in New York with Thibodeau playing Taj Gibson and Alec Burks 35 plus minutes a night. But my whole thing with the trade deadline is, first of all, I just thought it was funny how Klutch Sports is mad at Pelinka for not making a move when they were the people who, again, reportedly wanted Russ there in the first place and nixed that whole Buddy Hield deal. Also, I'm with you. I don't know if John Wall would have helped, but at the end of the day, what they're doing is not working. So as Melo fans and not Laker fans, I could give two fucks about the Lakers organization in 5 years from now and how successful they're going to be.
Right.
It bothered me that they didn't make a trade, because let's say they could have got John Wall and Christian Wood for Russ, a first round pick, THT, and Trevor Ariza. I don't know. I'm pulling that out of my ass. Like, you pull the trigger. Say that again?
They're not using Ariza as it is. So why not?
Ariza or Stanley Johnson, maybe not. They probably would have valued him a little bit more. But just somebody like that, where what you're doing is not working. I don't think they gave up on the season by not making a trade. But in my opinion, it's like, yo, you have LeBron, who after next year can leave, and he's probably going to go wherever Bronny's going to play.
Right.
Like, you have 2 years. So make moves in these 2 years to try to win, because if they don't win next year, then it's a wrap. LeBron's probably out unless the Lakers somehow wind up with Bronny. So a first round pick in 3-4 years, I get it, how they think it's valuable, because in 3-4 years they might not be very good, but they're also not very good right now, and they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony. So it's like, if your whole plan was to go all in, then go all in and trade for John Wall. Like, you don't know. Maybe he would have played in 5 of the next 20 games, but he could have also played in 20 of the next 20 games and turned shit around. And for me, it's like, yo, what you're doing is not working. Do fucking something. And the fact that they did nothing is it was really disappointing. Them and the Knicks, but right now we're talking
I,
LA. So
I nothing, like nothing at all. Like not even a session man for somebody. Like they need nothing. Like not a coach, a trainer, just nothing.
yeah. And what last thing that I'm very curious about in this post All-Star break run is how Vogel plays certain players and what they allow certain players to do, because I hope that the reason THT had such a big role before the deadline was because they were trying to, have him ball out and raise his trade value a little and stuff like that. But he's obviously not having a great season. So if they're going to continue having him as one of, the ball handlers and one of their primary scorers, I don't think it's a good look. And I guess we'll see. That's I guess what I'm interested to see is, was it something that they just wanted to show him off to trade him? Or are they
Right.
like, yo, we have nobody else. Let's let him rock. I hope they let Melo rock.
Yeah. I
Let
think
Melo rock.
they have to go to him. Now they see the difference. Like without him versus with him. So it's like, all right, we got Melo this thing.
Yeah.
Let him take over and give us what we need because he was helping them out. So it's
Yeah.
not like he wasn't. He's a huge part.
Yeah. And like you said, Monk stepped the fuck up offensively.
He did.
So,
He did.
I don't think he could do what he was doing every single game. Hopefully they'll allow. And again, when we say hopefully they'll allow, like obviously Melo's going to get some shots and play make a little more. But last time when AD was injured, he didn't really get as much. He wasn't involved as much as we all thought he was going to. Like, oh shit, no AD. Like they're going to have to run it through Melo more. And that wasn't necessarily the case. So I hope it's the case over the next
Right.
20-something games. But
Yep.
I guess we'll see, man.
Yep.
Any last comments on that?
No,
Sorry,
that's pretty.
All right, Kenny. Well, bro, I appreciate you for hopping on again. As always, missed our guy Joe tonight. It felt weird not having the trio together, but Joe, feel better if you're listening. Before I let you go, Kenny, we always let our guests control a narrative before they hop off. So whether that's Melo related, basketball related, or it doesn't even have to be either related, I'm gonna give you the floor and let you control a narrative.
So I want to let everybody know that what happened to Melo in Philly is not every person that lives in Philly. Not everybody that lives in Philly acts like that. I just want everybody to know that. Like I'm from Philly, born and raised. So if you see me, you walk up to me, I will say what's up to you, or like it won't be confrontational. It's everybody in Philly is not like that.
Kenny, that's a hard narrative to control, right?
Let's just come talk to me. I got you. I give you what you need.
I was gonna say, with all the shit that Philly fans have been caught on video doing and saying, it's a hard narrative to control. That might be one of the hardest narratives that anyone's tried to control on here.
Man, I control it all the time. I let people know. That's why I had to let in the Discord. I'm like, look, not all of us are like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Just them two right there, but not everybody is like that. So
Were you at that game?
No.
Where?
No, it was man, them tickets it was 400 for nosebleed.
For real?
Yeah, it was crazy.
So they paid what, $2,000 to sit up front and say whatever they were saying to Melo?
Yep, it had to be about two. I think it was 25 down.
2.5K?
No, 2,500.
I was gonna say 25,000. Holy shit!
No. But it's always like that. It's always like that. Anytime somebody big comes to Philly, because those same tickets, the next game were probably 200. They always do that.
Yeah, but I think I paid like 190 to see LA at the Garden, see the Lakers at the Garden. Like it wasn't nosebleeds, but like it wasn't down. It was like midsection. It was like the upper section, but like further down. It's like 190 retail. I think I got them from Ticketmaster back in the day. So crazy shit, man. Crazy shit, man.
First time I haven't went to a live game that Melo played since he's been in the NBA. My very first time, other than the pandemic. Every home game, every game, and every team he's been on.
In Philly, you're talking.
Yeah, in Philly. I've came to every game, and
that
I have pictures. Yep.
That was a good game to miss.
Yep.
We had planned a little meetup, and shit snuck up on me, but Low
Yeah,
key,
I'm kind of glad to go to
yeah,
that.
low key, kind of happy about that. But bro, I appreciate you coming on as always and chopping
Sure,
it up a little bit with me.
sure.
Hopefully I'll see you in a few weeks
Yes,
before
sir.
concert. But appreciate you, man, and
Yep.
a little bit excited for Lakers basketball to come back just so we can watch our guy ball out again. So crossing our fingers that this
Yep.
post All-Star break run is a good one.
My eyes will be glued to the TV to see.
Yes, sir. All right, Kenny. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, peace.